Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. What an absolutely incredible event this has been so far. I am just so honored to be on the stage with these amazing women. My name is Hannah. I am the founder of Design Her Studios. It is a branding consultancy for females of the future. And I am just already completely blown away by the depth of knowledge and just the authenticity of everybody here. As a new member of this community, I just feel so welcome. So I'm so excited to share this with you today. All right. So let's get started. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about leading the future with the power of brand, transcending the noise. So it is no secret that we are in a very unique time in history right now. As we were talking about, the future is here. It is now, right? And so our digital and our in-person lives are more intertwined than they have ever been. And emerging technologies like Web3, which is why we're all here today, Metaverse, XR, AI are only speeding up that process. And none of them are even at their fullest potential yet, which is absolutely crazy because the next best thing is being introduced almost daily. And from the outside looking in, bridging this gap to the rest of the world that isn't as familiar with this world, number one, people are skeptical. Number two, they are unwilling or don't think that they're capable of learning about these technologies. And number three, they may just be trying to keep up with little substance. So I'm going to provide an example for you guys right now. We're going to talk about the hot topic right now, generative AI. This is the latest technology that is transforming our daily lives seemingly overnight. I know for me personally, my day-to-day has completely changed because of AI, and I'm sure a lot of you guys in this room can relate to that. And it's undoubtedly going to be a huge part of how we are all collaborating and creating within Web3. And despite the fact that we can't possibly imagine what this is going to look like next month, next year, 5 years from now, there's a really interesting pattern happening right now. And I'm going to give you an example of that. So November 30th was the big day. ChatGPT became publicly available. And on December 1st, the very next day, a really interesting thing happened. There were 10 million gurus on generative AI. 10 million people suddenly knowing everything about this technology and building their brands behind it, their businesses behind it. And it's something that we've seen happen with Web3, the metaverse. There's been a big spike after the Vision Pro was released. All of these gurus kind of coming out of nowhere. And so this brings me to the heart of what I want to talk to you guys about today. And that is, number one, really acknowledging the noise, getting real about what is this? Where is it coming from? And what is the data behind how it's impacting online behavior? Number two, as a woman of the future, how do we establish our zone of geniuses or zone of expertise in these innovative spaces and create a unique voice that stands out from all of this noise? How do we, once we've established that zone of genius, how do we build a brand, a decentralized brand strategy that works across all mediums, all platforms, and why everybody needs a decentralized brand? And finally, how do you get out of your own way when you have these tools in hand and design your future, defining your role during this revolutionary time? So a little bit about me. This is my avatar. She never has a bad hair day. I'm Hannah. As I mentioned, I am a digital marketer With a decade of experience, I've watched this entire landscape evolve from the growing use cases of social media for businesses and individuals to the increasing precision of the algorithms, which we know are designed to keep us on these platforms, to now Web3, marketing funnels, and the decentralization of these platforms. So my work has led me to manage tens of millions of dollars quarterly for one of the biggest tech companies in the world. But what I'm most proud of is when I left my corporate full-time position, although I still dabble in corporate consulting, by developing my personal brand, kind of bringing all of my passions together. So innovative technologies, as well as transformation and mindset and coaching, optimization, marketing, and using my personal brand to build a company. And within 4 months, I had doubled my corporate salary, and I had people from all over the world that were messaging me, telling me how I was impacting their lives. And I call this my brand awakening moment. This is really when I started to grasp the power of building a personal brand. And this is something I've been doing for in the corporate world. This is something that I was doing on the side for other startups and businesses. But at this point, I really was able to understand the power of this on an individual level. And that just opened up a new realm of possibility for me. So let's talk about our role in this evolving space. So we have Web3, which is the universe of it all, of all of these emerging technologies. And then as women of the future, here we are in the center of this all, which is so exciting because everybody has a unique contribution as we're building this together. As we know, Web3 is collaborative, and the more voices and the more perspectives and the varying skill sets that we can come and bring into this space, the more inclusive it's going to be, the more powerful it's going to be, and the more we put the power in our hands to really define what this space is going to look like. And so it's probably no surprise that the data does show that the majority of early adopters of Web3 right now are male, hetero, and high income. And so as women, as the minority group here, we have a responsibility to provide equal representation for other women who maybe are already in this space and need help uplifting our voices, or the other women and the other visionaries on the outside looking in who need to prepare for this and maybe a little bit intimidated to jump into this space. So that is what I do. That is what lights me up, is helping to elevate the voices of other women within this space, as well as bridging the gap for those visionaries on the outside looking in who want to be a part of creating this future together. So let's talk about the noise. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. Everybody has their 5 steps to success formula. And the dopamine reward of scrolling has us locked in this echo chamber of content meant to confirm our biases. And I'm probably not going to cure your scrolling addiction or my own today, nor do I really want to at this point. But I do know how important an online presence is, and that there are sustainable ways of approaching this. Thing is, as we know, AI is only going to add to the increasing volume of content, but that is okay because studies have shown that our appetite for content consumption is bigger than ever. The only caveat here is that the consumers are savvier than ever. So let's dive into the numbers a little bit more and look at the story behind this. 6 hours and 43 minutes is the average time that we spend online every day. This is a global number. That's a lot of time. That's also a lot of opportunity. And the interesting fact about this is that has leveled out. We have officially hit a ceiling for the amount of time that we're actually spending online. With that, the number one reason globally, again, that people are spending time online, that they're using the internet, is to find information. And It is the number one falling reason why people are using the internet to find information. The information overload has officially set in. And so this third data point is really interesting, and it's going to kind of give us a hint as to what this story is. So fewer and fewer people are actually looking to experts for their information as well. And this is down 7% since 2020. So what is this telling us? As time online hits a ceiling and demand is actually rising for content, for a digital presence, but we're not looking to experts, this all screams Web 2.5 to me. This is showing the transition to the way that we're behaving and engaging online already, whether people on the outside looking in even realize this is happening. And your greatest currency during this time as we transition into Web3 is going to be trust, right? Really developing trust and connection and relevancy and quality with the way that you're building your online presence. People don't need the experts anymore. We're not looking to the gurus anymore, and we don't need more information. We need more connection. So let's talk about how to build that trust and what are those pillars of that. So this is about establishing your zone of genius. Whether you're already in the space and you feel like you've really found your groove, your voice in innovative technology, or you're just starting to dabble and get into it, it's so important to connect with what is unique about you, because everybody has a genius. And I know genius can be a fluffy word, it can be a big word, but it's true. When we're operating within these three pillars, which I'm going to cover in a moment, then we really start to allow people to see us for what makes us unique and creative. And so what is it? And why does it matter? Your zone of genius is the intersection of your passion, your core strengths, and your experience. And why does it matter? Because nobody is you, and nobody can compete with you when you operate in a league of your own. And we're not competing in Web3. That's been the theme of these conversations today, right? Is connection and collaboration. We aren't competing. And so this is your invaluable and unique contribution. And what this does is it gives you your North Star for defining a role that may not even exist yet. So I want to take you through these three pillars right now. Take you through a little exercise. Let's have some fun. We've been listening today. I want you to, if you have a pen and paper beside you, to kind of write down anything that comes up as I cover these three pillars, because the thing is, what is authentic to you, your genius, is always changing based on what you're learning, based on the people you're connecting with, and definitely based on these evolving technologies. So take a minute to check in right now. Number one, passion. What is the through line between all that you're doing in the innovative space right now? Why did you even choose to get into innovative technology? Or why are you interested in it now? Why have you made the decisions that you've made in your career? What is the thing that you would be doing if there was no external motivation, right? For success, notoriety, the thing that intrinsically motivates you. I call this your through line. Why are you doing all that you're doing? Number two is your core strengths. What feedback do you consistently get? Because our core strengths in these different areas, because they're innate to who we are, oftentimes it can be hard to really see what those are. So what is the feedback that you're getting from clients, from your peers in this space that is unique to you? These are your core strengths. And then number three, your experience. So looking at the evolution of your career, looking at past work, past events that you've gone to, places that you've traveled, what you do for fun. How have your experiences shaped the unique perspective that you hold, that you're bringing into this space? Just taking a moment, write anything down, even if it's just a word that comes up. Now let's talk about how to take your zone of genius into a decentralized brand strategy and what that even means. So, a decentralized brand strategy is about maintaining control over your brand and over your data and developing a strategy that's transferable across platforms. And as someone with an advertising background, I know the importance of it not being dependent on an ad revenue driven algorithm. Right? This is a decentralized brand, transferable across platforms. And unfortunately, still, many strategists are teaching how to win the numbers game, how to fight the algorithm when that's not even going to be how we are operating online during Web3. Because more eyes does not equal more ROI. And by R, I mean connection, credibility, and collaboration. Right? These are our pillars. So if vanity metrics, which are the followers, the likes, are not reliable KPIs, then what is a decentralized KPI for keeping track of the strength of your personal brand? Relationships, right? When you are leading with what makes you unique, when you're not afraid to talk about the multidimensionality of you, plus your work, plus the different projects that you're working on, and you are leading with communicating with your mission, your why, based on your zone of genius, then you give something for people to get behind. When you lead with the why instead of the what, because the what is always going to be evolving and it's going to be evolving very quickly as these technologies are evolving, then you are creating a sustainable brand that's going to sustain the lifetime of your career because it's built on that through line, right? It's built on your zone of genius. It's built on relationships. So I want to give you an example of this. Let's say you're a lawyer and you are deeply passionate about innovative technologies, Web3, AI, and using those technologies as a way of servicing your clients better. Because you've openly built a brand talking about the multidimensionality of your work and these passions and these different interests and how you're using them to better serve your clients, you're developing a network of not only potential clients who would want to work with you because you're thinking ahead, because you're thinking of the future and you're how to better serve them, but also other professionals who are interested in innovative technology, who are in adjacent industries that can be supportive of the work that you're doing, that you can collaborate with, as well as other lawyers, right? That are inspired by the way that you're leading your industry. And this network acts as almost like a neural network that is exponentially more impactful and more valuable than winning a numbers game, than winning the algorithm, which will eventually lead to being decentralized, right? And so the byproduct of this is, again, the 3 C's: connection, credibility, and collaboration, which are necessary components of any Web3 project growth. So with our last step here in this process, take a minute, take in the scenery. How does it make you feel? The next step is something that is often overlooked and not talked about enough in this space. And some speakers were alluding to this earlier, and I got really excited. This is about transcending the inner noise, right? This all sounds great. Amazing. The future is me talking about what I love and collaborating with incredible, smart, intellectual people and innovative thinkers and being allowing all parts of me to be intermeshed with my digital and personal lives. It all sounds so exciting. But why aren't we doing this more? Why aren't we leaning into what makes us unique? Why aren't we developing brands that are really true to who we are? And allowing ourselves to be seen in bigger ways and connecting with more people. And something that I've seen in coaching high-performing women in business over the past 4 years, it does not matter how successful, how brilliant, talented, or smart they are. there is this flavor of imposter syndrome, whether it's at the forefront or it's kind of subtle and in the background, that keeps us from really leaning into being seen in a bigger way. And another way of explaining this is the Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, but I call this the Dunning-Kruger effect. Dunning-Kruger says that people who don't know a lot about a topic are overly confident because they don't know what they don't know. But then the flip side of that is highly skilled individuals underestimate their knowledge relative to others because they more fully understand how broad it is. Right. So, and how broad that topic is. So you can see this graph, you're just starting to be introduced to, maybe Web3 is brand new to you. And you feel like, okay, like I'm getting it. Like I feel like I really understand Web3. And then you start to go down the Web3 rabbit hole. You're like, oh, wait, this is so much bigger than I thought. And then that point of like, oh, I'm never going to get this. I have so much to learn. And that's really the point where you really gain your wisdom and you get challenged, and then you keep going and you keep learning. You're starting to get it. And then you reach this space of being really grounded in what you know. I know what I know and I know what I don't. And it's really the space where you're operating in your genius. It's really where you can authentically communicate what's real. This is what I know. This is what I don't. And that creates more credibility, right? And that credibility builds the trust. And it allows you to be authentic while also building trust. And so you must get really, really good at transcending the inner noise and identifying the truth of your ability to be a key player, a visionary, and a leader in this new technological era. So with that, you're ready, you're set, let's go. There's a reward to designing your brand and your role, and it is a deeper understanding of your passion, of your mission, of your role as a visionary, and the ability to connect with other people with a shared mission. And to me, there is no greater reward than that. So thank you very much, everybody. I can't see the window. Let me pull it up. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I'm so excited to continue to connect with all of you. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions about this. I'd be happy to talk to you. And I hope you guys enjoy the next speaker.